today I'm doing some fireworks photography as Hong Kong celebrates its National Day. And the challenge for this year is to find the right spot so that I can have good compositions and also to maximize the fun experience of just watching the fireworks display. So this year my approach was to find a spot very away so that people won't actually think of photography from this spot. So the spot that I found was to go to this promenade and see, it's going to be very far, and of course I have to use my telephoto lens. Of course it's going to be my 100-400G master lens, and for the composition it's going to be quite simple. Of course this is going to be the central part of Hong Kong, and then this is going to be the Kowloon side, and the fireworks is going to be in between, and I'm trying to hope that the fireworks is going to fill the frame of this empty zone in the sky. But yeah, that's going to be the main idea, and I'm quite hopeful because visibility is quite good. There's not a lot of sea haze, it's not too cloudy. As long as the fireworks shoot up high up in the sky, it's going to work out. While I enjoy the beautiful evening and stunning night cityscape of Hong Kong, making use of the compressed perspective of the telephoto lens, let's talk about why I planned the shoot in this way. This isn't actually the first time that I'm doing the National Day fireworks display, and actually I made a video this time last year on some next level planning, because last year was the first time after a 5-year hiatus post-pandemic, and Hong Kong spent like $2 million worth of fireworks, and it was just phenomenal. But because it was a very big celebration, there was also a lot of people, so I had to camp out hours early, and it was not a very enjoyable, comfortable experience. Well, I soon realized after my seat got taken over that there was no way I could avoid the crowds on such a big event. They just popped out like mushrooms. That's alright. At least I didn't need to wait like 6 hours this time. The fireworks display soon started, but before that, here are a few tips when photographing something like this. We are going to be using long exposure, so that means that a tripod is going to be quite essential to have the best photos that you possibly can. For your camera settings, I tend to use the manual mode because I'm very particular in what aperture, ISO, and shutter speed that I will be using. For your aperture, I tend to use the mid-range around f8 or higher so that I could have a deep depth of field. For shutter speed, as mentioned, we're going to be using the long exposure because as the fireworks pop out in the sky, there's going to be some light trails, and we want to capture that in its entirety. But we also don't want to drag it out too long because one, it's going to overexpose the highlights and fireworks, and two, because there are going to be a lot of simultaneous fireworks popping out in the sky, then those fireworks are going to compete with each other, and the entire photo might end up looking like a big giant blob of light. So generally I tend to use around 2 to 5 seconds of shutter speed. For the ISO, I'm going to use it as a balancing act and keep it as low as possible while complementing the shutter speed and aperture. And another useful equipment to have is to have your shutter release cable. Because we are using long exposure, the camera is going to be quite susceptible to camera shake whenever you press the shutter button or when there's wind or vibrations around you. These vibrations may lead to blurry photos. True enough, I did encounter a number of blurry photos, and part of the reason is because I was using focal lengths of over 200mm, which will exaggerate even more the slightest of camera shakes. And because I was basically frantically changing up framing to have more variety in the shots, the camera needed extra time to stabilize. Furthermore, at longer focal lengths, you also capture less depth of field, so in some shots the fireworks were crisp, but the background cityscape would appear soft, which meant that higher aperture would have been necessary. And I said before that fireworks photography is a lot similar to capturing the waves. You just stick to a handful of compositions and then take as many photos as possible because the patterns could appear very random, so you want to maximize the chances of taking away a decent frame, so just keep shooting and shooting and shooting. The 23-minute firework display this year comes with a particular theme of showing prosperity and the color themes representing different characteristics and messages. I would have liked for my compositions to show better separation between the fireworks and cityscape at the back, as they greatly overlap, but having a few iconic skyscrapers tower above the fireworks also did work out in my opinion. Overall, it was a very enjoyable, colorful, and extravagant display. But I guess that's going to be it for today, and if you enjoyed this video, then why don't you click on this one, so I'll see you there. Thanks for watching.